Hey guys, my name is X Factor. Hopefully you're having a great day, and today I'm going to be breaking down some of my thought processes, tips, and tricks to what I look for to divide and conquer. The art of the retake, something that's extremely important in Battlefield, where objective play is absolute life. DICE rewards you with a ton of points for it, and it dictates any and all game modes. So with my play style, I play extremely aggressive towards the objective. I try to get there as fast as possible, try to do as much as damage, and capture and defend flags extremely effectively and quickly. Because here's what traditionally happens in Battlefield. People get stagnant. They see the objective, they see the bad guys, they run in a straight line. Well, that sets up stationary offense and defense, which usually welcomes tons of grenade spam, gas spam, mortars, armor, anything and everything that can be lobbed at you. Tons of death, but not really a lot going on. So what I usually like to do if we're hitting our head against the wall, or if we've down to one flag and they're making a huge push, I try to flank or divide and conquer and go someplace where they don't expect me, with my objective getting on the objective or the other objective. And this is something I have to keep in the back of my head. Can I kill some time to stay out of combat? Remember, if people start shooting at you, whether they hit you or not, you are in combat. That means they can't spawn on you for as long as you're being shot at, and there's a cooldown. So always keep that in mind when you get around or behind them. And here's the predicament that you see. Do I back rage and flank the guys pressing A? How much pressure is there? Is our team getting blown apart? Are there many friendlies left alive, or is it a bunch of blue skulls? Or do we have time to sneak to B? That's a call I often make. If we're holding up all right, if the enemy is pushing a specific line and they're clumped up, might not even go for the back range, because it's important to have one flag and contesting the other, because the hammer can come down. If you get pushed down to one flag, it's been a couple minutes, they're going to be overwhelming you. You are just going to get blown apart to shreds. So here's kind of the call. We've kind of loosened things up, and we're going to try to push through to B. Remember, it's a ratio thing. You just have to have one more body than the opposing team, whether it's Conquest or Operation, to start neutralizing the flag or burning it back in your ratio. Now, it's really important to know, go for medics, but at that point in time, there's absolutely nothing I could do, because that is a massive clump of medics. We would have had to fill that out and wipe everybody off. So here's the situation. We still got a guy back at B. If you're pushing, more than likely they can't push. Keep the pressure on them. We've got a couple stragglers in between A and B. And this is one of my favorite maps to actually work retakes on, because it's pretty tricky. Your spawn is a crest of a hill. You've got to come over, but the best way to do it is sneak over that hill, get into the front trenches, and work your magic from there. Again, if you're pressing them, more than likely they're spawning back because they're seeing their flag flash, and as soon as it goes neutral like that, they can't spawn here anymore. They have to spawn from deployment, or there's squad members that are left on the flag. So it's really important to wipe out those medics and keep all the other enemy guys in combat so you can't get spawn bombed. Of course, there is that bug where sometimes people spawn on dead bodies. That's quite the surprise, because they do have damage mitigation at first for a split second or so they're going to be bullet sponges, so do keep that in mind. Then you've got to hunt and try to sniff out anybody that's left. Once you feel secure with that, you can reset up your defense. Can't tell you how many times where we've gone from a sliver of having one flag to having a full retake on both flags within about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Remember, DICE really slowed down how quickly you can burn a flag, and the max ratio is 3. If you have 3 or more players, that's as fast as it's going to go, whether it's decapping or capping. So keep that in mind. Those fights are elongated. So it's a race to get it neutralized, and it's a race to get it capped for your side so you can spawn back and they are pushed further back. And then you can run your setup. You can stretch out your line across the front, giving their tanks or artillery or light tanks make it a little bit more difficult for them to push through. Remember, as you're plinking at those armor with assault, they're having to repair, use their quick repair or their disable ability, and then they're thinking about pushing. Remember, armor's only as strong as the infantry around it, so you can keep the armor at bay, whether it's a AT rocket or a well-placed anti-armor grenade. That's helping your team. That is buying you time, because the last thing you want is a fully juiced heavy tank with his quick repair, or land ship with a quick repair ready to go, followed up by infantry jamming that down your throat. Now, here's the age-old question. Do you rotate or do you not rotate when worrying about coughing up a flag? A lot of times when a flag starts to flash, too many people go. And I've done this a lot myself, where I've actually regretted rotating back because that quickly they actually push back and they're on the flag that you were just on. So it's something where you actually have to watch the minimap and map major. Those are two things I've always had bound to my mouse. So you'll always see me adjusting my minimap size. I'm trying to get a feel for what's going on in the game. Now, if I can't exactly see it, I'll switch to the major map, which of course any armor or infantry that's spotted is still there. It really helps you out with maybe planes that are up in the air and armor that's way back, but it gives you an idea. Now, I'm kind of holding spawn here, seeing if I want to go back to B or A. And of course, if you are the squad leader, set waypoints often. One of the quickest ways to basically level up in this game is play the objective, kill on the objective, defend on the objective, set those waypoints. One of the best things you can do, even though action isn't really happening, is keep a waypoint on the objective behind you, because as time ticks down, you're going to be rewarded for defending that point. And if you quick switch it over, as long as it's been enough time, you'll get a percentage of points based on how long you've defended that point. So it's extremely important to be a good squad leader, or use the mutiny feature if your squad leader isn't dishing out commands. You can request squad lead 3 times. If they don't issue up a command within 60 seconds or so, you'll be the squad leader. So this is what makes this so hard to defend once they get pushed up, and why it's not important to get pushed up. Destruction stays. Obviously, we held this team, but if they were smart enough, and most attackers do, they'll get a tank up here, they'll roll over this entire wall. That is a long, open, crested hill that you have to breach just to get close to the objective. If they're set up, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. Partner that with the Zeppelin of Death, it's Screen Shake Simulator, and just death absolutely everywhere. But here you see me again trying to push into the front of the trenches. One of my favorite places to cap and defend both A and B from. So that's kind of the trick. Now again, if the Zeppelin's on top of you, or if the guns are focused on you, there is nothing you can do there. Unless you want to break out your AT rocket and double bang the front gunners out. So if you get the right splash, that is something that you can do. So the attackers actually get through to the next set. Remember, if it's 64-man operations, they're given 50 tickets by default. So again, it's 250 to start. So really, you need to get them down to 150 or 175, because they get 2 to 3 tickets for every white circle that they kill through that transitional period. So here's another retake of B, where I'm on the objective, but we do not have the ratio. And you can see that little sliver. We're finally on ratio. We have at least one more body, and now it's tied and now went back towards them. So it's very important to pick these kills, but stay alive. If you're winning the burn drastically, it's more important to simply stay alive until you have it, and then you could die, and then you've got more than likely enough time to spawn back, because again, they've really slowed down how long it takes to cap and defend these points. Now, I've talked about this before. Attackers and defenders, they clump up. They feel safe in certain positions. Now, if you want to flank and take away some of these positions of power, that's something that can really help out your team, because you're setting up crossfire. If an enemy team starts to get shot at from other angles they're not expecting, that's loosening them up. Now they have to pay attention. Maybe they swing towards you or your squad. Now they're getting pinned from 2 different angles. So it's all about creating those crossfire lanes and expanding out on certain sides. Even if you're not on the objective for that split second, but your team is slowly starting to win the burn or get a better ratio, that's beneficial to your team. But remember, this game is very paper, rock, scissory when it comes to your weapon selection. So right at this very specific point, it'd probably be extremely helpful to have an LMG like the MG15 suppressed with a 200 round mag. And that's something I always take into consideration. I never spawn in and around and say, this is the only kit or weapon I'm using. I always switch it up between support, whether it's medic, scout, or assault to bust on some armor or the close quarter killing needed. Now, once you actually get set up and you're back here, you can repin them again. So this is a complete angle that the attackers have to worry about. Now the question is, you gotta do a little hunting and find them. You can see on the map that we've really lost control of B. So at this point, we have to worry about being pinned, but we're attacking from their side, which more than likely they feel very comfortable looking into our spawn or towards A in which we contest. So a lot of times when you rework back to the objective, you'll catch massive clumps of people off guard. You'll get that back rage in, get a ton of kills, and relieve the pressure. Remember, it's all about killing the medics and, of course, squad wiping. So once you come all the way back down, you're going to notice that more than likely you're going to find the guys that were hiding just off the objective. You got to clear them out and rework that whole angle. Remember, it's about setting up a horseshoe, pinning them, and not getting pinned. Next time you spawn in Battlefield 1 or any Battlefield game, are you playing with the Zerg? Are you playing with the vast majority of your teammates? That's usually an indicator that your entire team's about to get pummeled and you're about to get wiped off of that conquest, operation point, or other objective. Remember, that's usually the time to flank, divide and counter, and set them up for the crossfire. Keeping in mind all those things that we just talked about. It'll help you become a better player. It'll help you become a better teammate. It'll cause your win percentage to skyrocket. Hopefully, guys enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, hanging out, and we'll see you soon.